Three messages before we get started with today's show. First, where do you go to research domain name availability, look up current and historical Whois information, and find domain name sales history? Ever wonder which other websites use the same hosting resources that you do? DomainTools.com provides a complete picture of a domain name, from research to monitoring, and is trusted by more than 1 million members worldwide. Did I mention they'll monitor domain names for you for free? I just set up 2 domain name monitors myself today. Check them out, DomainTools.com. Second, do you have a domain name or website legal issue that you need help with? David Westlow provides legal representation for clients ranging from individuals to Fortune 500 companies in domain name transactions, whether they're disputes, trademark and copyright claims, or web hosting and content liability issues. As a former software and web developer himself, David Westlow understands your needs and goals. Whether it's a cease and desist letter, a UDRP case, or buying or selling one or more domain names, contact David Westlow at newmediaiplaw.com. That's newmediaiplaw.com. Finally, you know that being on page 1, the first page of results of a major search engine like Google or Bing, can drive exponentially more traffic than being on page 2 or worse. If you're a domain developer and you need immediate free advice to get your website to the top of the organic search results, will you go check out page2sucks.com? You heard me right, page2sucks.com. Here's your program. Hey everyone, my name is Michael Seiger and I'm the publisher of DomainSherpa.com, the domain name authority and the place where you can learn about the domain name industry directly from the experts themselves. Many domain name investors make money through sales, but most rely on monetizing domain names to some degree. Domain name parking came about when GoTo.com pioneered the pay-per-click advertising model in 1998, and domain investors were quick to realize that they could benefit tremendously from placing ads on their domains that receive direct navigation or type-in traffic. After all, people know exactly what they want when they type into their browser address bar recipes.com, cars.com, or reversemortgage.com. But while parking revenue was a gold mine in 2002, 2003, domain investors have seen significant declines in parking revenue over the years, to a point where the revenue generated doesn't pay for domain registration fees in a lot of cases. Couple that with the fact that every parking company is a black box. You never know how much the parking company is making off your domains, and you have the makings for a discontented customer base. Enter today's guest. Joining me from Grand Cayman Island is Frank Schilling, founder of Name Administration Media. Frank needs no introduction in the domain name industry, but because Domain Sherpa reaches a broader audience of entrepreneurs, startup founders, and web developers, we're going to go into some of Frank's background during the interview. In short, Frank is one of the best-known domain investors who owns one of the largest domain name portfolios ever built. Frank's domain name portfolio has an estimated value of at least $500 million. Some would estimate many, many multiples of that. Frank, welcome to the show.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Frank, I'd like to start off every interview by asking about domain name portfolios, just to put things in perspective. How many domain names do you own right now, and how do they shake out by TLD?
I don't know the exact number. It's 360 or 70,000. I think it shakes out. There are a few thousand CAs, a few thousand co-UKs, tens of thousands of .nets, and then the remainder would be .com. I have a small investment in .xxx that'll be announced soon. And that's about it.
Okay. And do you have any categories that you prefer over others? Like I know you used to be in gambling domains for a while, and cars, mortgages, finance, anything?
Everybody starts out differently. I got my start back in the days when you mentioned GoTo at your outset. I haven't heard that company name in a long time. It shows your knowledge of the space, really. That you're absolutely right. They did pioneer pay-per-click. And what was interesting was back then the U.S. government was not really against gambling online, or hadn't come out yet. one way or another. The internet was new. It was still shiny, and Yahoo was, a new company in everybody's mind. And this is so long ago.
Yeah.
And just to put a dateline on it, and so gambling was paying $25 a click.
Wow.
And so I saw myself as the guy driving the bus to the casino, dropping off the gamblers, if I could, to the casino, and getting paid for that on a pay-per-click basis. I was really struck by the amount that was being paid for those warm leads. And so I started out with focusing on gaming and gambling names, and then as time wore on, I just developed more of a scattershot portfolio. Thank you. Of generics as they started to expire. If you, again, hearkening on the past, if you think about the NASDAQ crash in 2000, 2001. And then the ad bust that followed, a lot of people gave up on domain names and thought domains were like, the CB radio.
Right. So your portfolio is focused mainly on generic domain names. So words that are in the dictionary, single paired together, 3 words. Yeah.
You got it. That's the lion's share, the belly of the portfolio. That said, clearly, we have all kinds of domain names. Anything that looks like it has value to more than one party, that was our focus.
Yeah.
Long-term value to develop, long-term future value for the next generation. That's sort of the mindset that went into creating the portfolio.
All right. I thought I read online that you had upwards of 700,000 domain names. Is that not a correct number? 360,000 is about where you are?
370, maybe 380. I could make
somewhere in that order of magnitude.
Yes.
All right, Frank, the domain name blogosphere is a buzz. I don't know if you get on any of the blogs and read, but when you updated internettraffic.com, your website, you put up a statement, quote, a no-frills domain monetization platform for experienced type-in traffic operators. Can you explain to the audience what internettraffic.com is in a little bit more detail?
Sure. So it's a platform, a monetization platform. Mm-hmm. And so in that sense, there's nothing revolutionary about it. It's simply a way for people who do what I do on, at my level or at a greater level or at a smaller level to make money with their traffic and to monetize their traffic. There aren't really any existing monetization companies that I know of that where an owner operator who's deep in the business operates the platform and does it not so much as a profit vehicle, but as more of a pass through, trying to build a larger platform of quality traffic. Mm-hmm. And so, that deal was sort of always there for us to do. I could have done it back in the days when I was a Yahoo partner. Exclusive Yahoo partner, I should say. I'm still proud to be affiliated with Yahoo. It's just I never really took advantage of it. I didn't think that there was a market for it. I didn't think that another monetization platform would really change anything. The encouragement of some of the folks I work with, we just sort of decided, maybe the time's right to test the waters. And as I moved people, my initial partners onto the platform that has now become internettraffic.com, we realized, that the pay rates were up significantly, 40% on day one. Wow. From what they were experiencing. And these are experienced operators. These are guys who,
Okay, so let me dig into this a little bit more. So you build a platform. The platform takes a domain name pointed at it, and when somebody then types in that domain name, let's talk about reverse mortgage. I think that might be one of your domain names.
Reverse mortgage. Yes.
So if somebody types in reversemortgage.com into the address bar, they go to a website. That website may be actually your server, your platform.
Right. So they'll type in the name. It goes to a DNS server where we read where is it looking for? It's then served a web page. We try to automatically pre-target the name based on an algorithm because we can't go through these names manually. There are too many.
Right.
And then we serve a page with advertising, sorted advertising, and there's some science that goes into it. It's not rocket science, but there's definitely science that goes into the ads that are displayed. and then we monetize the click on a pay-per-click basis, and we return the lion's share of the revenue generated to the site owner. So that's what I kind of thought everybody did. Forgive my naivete. I kind of had a direct deal for so long, I kind of lost touch with what's happening in parking. And so we as we started to do this, we were just struck by the gap, the chasm between, I guess, revenue generated and revenue paid out. And, some of that I understand. I mean, operating a parking company, a traditional parking company, isn't even easy. I mean, you have offices, staff, infrastructure, and that all has to be paid for before profit's made.
Right.
And so I think in some respects, owner operators are in a better position because they've got to do that for their own and operated stuff anyway. Mm-hmm. I've had to build all this infrastructure and stuff for my own stuff. So for me to plug in somebody else, it's almost like Google. If you think about Google, they don't really need their entire syndication network because they have the traffic coming to Google. They've got this giant audience, right?
Right.
So syndication for them is less critical. It's something that, sort of like, and we've got syndication, and maybe 10, 15% of their operating revenue comes from syndication, if that, right? They have Google to focus on. I have my own operated, which is very large. And so I don't need to latch on to, the parking as a money maker, make or break money maker to pay for all the fun and frivolity in my life.
Yeah. So your main impetus for building a parking platform to monetize your type-in traffic of the domain names that you own was what? Well,
it was a couple of things. That I realized, how can I put this delicately? There is, in certain marketplaces, there is a lot of paid search, domain channel. If you think about the historical domain channel, for whatever that means, there is a lot of arbitrage in the domain channel. There, SEM and SEO operators who say, "Oh, our traffic's just as good a quality or better." I say, fine, let it prove itself. Let's put all the SEO and SEM and arbitrage in a bucket, and let's see how it performs. And I think history has shown that arbitrage works, but if you could arbitrage your way to prosperity, there'd be no need for any organic traffic. We just all do that. It doesn't happen. It doesn't work. The model breaks at some point. There's a plateau to what arbitrage, SEM, SEO, and all that is capable of in terms of delivering laundering traffic, basically, park page to park page. You know what I mean? And I noticed for a long time I was serving, pay-per-click links, and I'd click on the link, and there'd be another set of 5 results that looked just like the page I just visited. And that's not a good user experience or healthy.
That is not.
No. Anybody will tell you that. So I wanted to see what would sort of happen. It felt like a good time to disrupt, to shake things up a bit. What happens if we take just all the good type-in traffic? Good meaning, there's a user behind the curtain who typed this URL. We could see that that's a direct navigation visit from this IP address, wherever they are in the world. Let's let that traffic stand as a tranche and bucket it, and see if pay rates go up. And so far, that's what we're seeing. So we're trying to. It just seemed like a good opportunity to disrupt.
Yeah.
I don't have a good answer for you as to why now. It just sort of happened.
So you were using, before you built your platform, you were using other parking companies to monetize your domain names?
No, we were using our own owned and operated traffic and a direct feed.
Okay, so you're using a direct feed of advertisements from Yahoo, and you had your own platform, and when people came to your domain names, you served up those ads.
Right. We used the traffic. I have to couch this. I'm not supposed to name names from our upstream provider, and then we displayed ads.
Okay.
And now we're still doing that. We just, we're just doing it a little bit differently. We're using a little different science.